his 21 points. But his counterpart in the backcourt, Tiny Archibald, came back to score a season-high 27 points. 7 assists, including this one to McHale. Tiny was the most valuable player. As the Celtics win it 106-97, they lead 2 games to none. And from Chicago, Illinois, it's Game 3 in the best-of-7 series between the Bulls and Boston Celtics. Welcome to Chicago Stadium, a standing room only crowd of better than 20,000 fans on hand for this one in game number 3. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Bender. Well, the Bulls really have their work cut out for them. However, you must remember one thing about this team. The last time they played here against Boston, they won by 23 points. But they also have something that has to concern them. They're trying to become the first team since 1977 to lose the first 2 games in a best-of-7 series, back and win that series. There's been an awful lot said about this game by players on both sides. Artis Gilmore, the 7'2" center of the Chicago Bulls, had this to say. He said, "We've got to get more physical. We've got to be able to try and punish them and wear them down so that we can beat them in the late rounds." But Tiny Archibald, who's been an outstanding playmaker, Celtics says they are tough and physical, and we don't want to get into a half-court game with them. Reggie Theus, he thinks the tempo is so important in this game. He says we have to push the ball up the floor more. We have to game. But Larry Bird feels that would be a mistake. He feels that if they try to run with us, they'll take one of their most important players out of the game, and Artis Gilmore. I think that we'll run them into the ground. So that sets the stage in what should be quite a ball game, and tempo again into play. And Bill Russell and Rick Barry, who's right? Reggie Theus or Larry Bird?
Well, I think is not necessarily who's right, but Chicago should be able to run and keep Artis Gilmore in the game. If he gets the defensive rebound and makes a good outlet pass, he does not have to be fast. And no matter how good, you still can't run every time down, and that's when he should be in the game. They should be able to run and play the physical game.
I talked to the coaches before the game, Gary, and Jerry Sloan would like them to run more, only in the respect of trying to take advantage of the steals, but to try to get the ball up into their offensive end of the court a little bit quicker. Into their offense, have more time to do things in the set offense. Bill Fitch, of course, he would like to go ahead and run every opportunity he gets. And Bill, I have to ask you this, because you know a little bit about the Boston Celtics, I would think. What would you do to beat the Boston Celtics?
Well, first of all, I would concentrate on that pass. See, they're only effective when certain guys are handling the ball in the break. So when Archibald, with every shot made, every time the shot get a rebound, I would try to block up the pass to Nate Archibald, to make him look for someone else to dribble the ball a couple of times before they start to break. That way you can keep up with them. They should shut off the outlet pass if possible.
Well, we'll see if the Bulls can do that. That great crowd is for the introduction of the Chicago Bulls, and the one man that they're really concerned about is Tiny Archibald. And for the starting lineups, let's go back to Gary.
The NBA on CBS. Tonight's playoff game is sponsored by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Kemper and the independent insurance agents who represent us. For all of your insurance needs, ride with Kemper. And by the U.S. Army. The Army, a place to be, all you can be.
We're ready to go here. Game number 3. Let's check first the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics this year winning 5 of the 6 games in the regular season of play. They'll be starting at one of the forwards with Larry Bird along with Cedric Maxwell. Rob Parrish will be the center, Tiny Archibald and Chris Ford in the backcourt. Bill Fitch in his second year as a head coach of the Boston Celtics. The Chicago Bulls They will counter with David Greenwood, Dwight Jones at the forwards, Artis Gilmore, Reggie Theus, and Bobby Wilkerson, Jerry Sloan. Also his second year as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And there's the three men in charge of the game, Lee Jones and Paul Mahalik. Jim Capers, the alternate. Mahalik in his 11th year of the NBA. Lee Jones in his 10th year. And this place already is generating a lot of excitement. Better than 1,000 fans on hand as the Celtics have a 2-0 lead. And Boston, a team that during the regular course of the season really gave the Bulls a difficult time. Tempo, Bill Russell. Boy, I think it's interesting how every game we seem to do comes to that word.
Tempo is important in getting your shooting rhythm, your defensive rhythm. The whole game is based on playing the way you want to play. Now, Chicago obviously would like to play a half-court game, as they said. So that way the guys, the muscle, can counteract the speed.
The Bulls with the opening tip-off. Artis Gilmore, the left-hand roll, and Robert Parrish brings it down. Parrish is having an excellent series. He had 27 points the last time out, 17 points in the game. Tiny Archibald into Larry Bird. Rebound ripped down by Greenwood. This Bulls team is big. They're 6'9.5", 6'10", 7'2". The smallest starter in the lineup is 6'6", Bobby Wilkerson. Jones gets it out to Artis Gilmore. Blocked by Perry. Greenwood, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Reggie Theus. And Chicago has jumped up 2. 4-0 lead. Check that, 2-0 lead. Archibald out to Cedric Maxwell. Dwight Jones to Larry Bird. You can hear the crowd in the background as Lee Jones has spotted something inside. Foul is going to Bobby Wilkerson. Larry Bird will inbounds the ball. Here's Tiny Archibald, the most valuable player in game number 2. Out to Larry Bird. Bird had a tough time getting loose from Greenwood in game 2, hitting only 5 of 13 from the field. Parrish. Maxwell shaking Dwight Jones, but Greenwood with a block off of the Boston Celtics.
Excellent defense that time on the part of the Bulls. Good weak side help with Greenwood coming over to help Dwight Jones on that swinging move on the hook shot by Cedric Maxwell.
Bobby Wilkerson, the number 1 draft pick of Seattle a few years ago. He played for Bill Russell in the Supersonics. Here's Greenwood for the baseline. That basket will count, and he's been fouled. And the Bulls now with a 4-0 lead.
Talk about that play the last time. Here goes Maxwell, overcomes Greenwood. Beautiful block on the play. Ball knocked out of bounds by Cedric Maxwell, and Greenwood down the other end makes a real good play offensively.
Maxwell committing a personal foul. Greenwood. David Greenwood, a second-year man from UCLA, averaging almost 15 points a game in the regular season. Archibald pushing the ball up the floor. The outstanding playmaker for this Boston Celtic team. Chris Bird up to Archibald. And, oh, is this place noisy. Just outside to go in the first quarter. Parrish to Chris Ford. Ford has shot very well in this series. Larry Bird, a difficult shot. 4-2, Chicago. Reggie Theus, David Greenwood, Maxwell out to pick him up. This Chicago team really finished with a rush this year, winning their last games in the regular season, 13 of their last 15, and there's a foul. That basket will not count. The foul will go on Larry Bird. That will be his first personal.
That was a classic pick and roll play. Dwight Jones said a good pick roll to the basket and picked up the foul.
Theus, back door. Beautiful pass to Jones. Check that, Bobby Wilkerson. 6-2, Chicago. Theus, it was a start in the All-Star game, along with his teammate Artis Gilmore. And we're going to have a foul.
Well, here's the last play. See, Dwight Jones, 13, sets the screen. Now he rolls to the basket, fouls the ball. Bird had gone. He came back over and fouled Dwight Jones. A good thing he did, otherwise he had the basket and the dunk. Now here's the last fine pass going into Bobby Wilkerson. He shoots it before he goes down. Wilkerson lays it in. The Bulls are pumped up. The crowd's behind them. They've got a 4-point lead. If there's anybody that can do it, it certainly could be Tom Watson. Another group of fine players in the lead there, but what a round by Nicholas. I heard he missed a 2-foot putt to get the record on the 15th hole.
Round 3 will be coming up tomorrow on CBS. Larry Bird. Pressure by Greenwood. Robert Parrish over shooting the basket. Up to Theus. There's Theus trying to step up the tempo. That's what he thinks the Bulls have to do. And Greenwood hits again. It's 8-2 Chicago.
Well, this is what Jerry Sloan was talking about before the game. We said he wanted to rush the ball up, see if you have a shot. If you don't have a shot, then you work a half-court offense. That gives you time. If you rush it up, good shot by Bird. If you rush it up, then you have time to run your offense.
Larry Bird with 4 points. 8-4.
Good job on Bird in the last game, but he's off to a fine start here this evening.
Look at that! Gilmore almost took Parrish with him on that play.
When the big fella gets that kind of position inside, you better bail out quick.
There's Bird off balance. He hits the deck to Theus. Archibald is back. Theus and a foul will go on Tiny Archibald.
Now Artis gets the ball inside. He gets himself set, goes up real strong. He had feet planted. He's able to carry it. Here's another view of it. He just makes a strong power move right over the outstretched hand of Robert Parrish. And if Robert had gotten his hand in the way of that one, Bill, he would have gotten it broken on the rim.
Well, he would have had a rough time shooting the rest of the night, I can tell you that.
That would intimidate you a little bit, wouldn't it?
No, but it might scare me.
Makes it 11-4. That was the third team foul against the Celtics. The first on Tiny. 3 points in the game now for Theus.
Now, that's one thing you have to watch for with Chicago. They're running the ball as well as any of the good teams run the ball. But they're not used to running the ball. And so fatigue, they get a different kind of fatigue running the ball this way.
The steal. Wilkerson. And it's 14-4. Boston has asked for a timeout. In the games played previously, all 4 of them, including the series against the Knicks, the Bulls were behind early. This is the first game they jumped.
Here's the play again. Tiny Archibald tries to penetrate inside. The ball's knocked away. It's off to the races for the Bulls. They took it down the other end and got a nice dunk shot. They're in control.
On that program, CBS Sports Saturday, we're going to have a very interesting inside look at the situation revolving around Vince Ferragamo. We understand that he hasn't signed with Montreal. Brent Musburger, the host of the show, will be developing that tomorrow. Right now, 6 straight unanswered points by Chicago. They lead 14-4, and Parrish gets them on the board. The Bulls, by the way, 6 of their first 7 shots as we start this game. Greenwood. And a pushing off foul on Gilmore, who elbowed his man out of the way.
Jerry Sloan up off the bench. He didn't like the call at all. There's the move inside. Here comes Gilmore. Let's see what he does. Right there he moves. He just went up in the air with his arm, and happened to be on it when he moved it up. He didn't do it intentionally, but as strong as he is, if he makes contact, he moves people.
2 fouls on Artis. Kobe Dietrich getting ready to check in. Cedric Maxwell, and now they moved the ball very nicely since that timeout and scored both times down the floor.
Now, what Boston is doing now, in order to get back in the game, is they're running that offense. And the good teams have to be able to run and run a set offense. Now, what I was talking about earlier is Chicago running, then your bench becomes far more important. You've got to have a good bench if you're going to run the ball like that. Greenwood, the guy's going to get tired.
Greenwood with a tough miss. Archibald Ford setting up from 3-point area. This is rebound. Maxwell. Maxwell hoisting the boards and a foul inside. Cedric Maxwell really getting good position.
Well, that's because nobody boxed him off. Dwight Jones missed his assignment that time, and he was able to sneak right around Dwight on the baseline. He came inside of him and got the rebound. He missed the first opportunity, but he was fouled on the second.
Foul on Bobby Wilkerson. So Gilmore and Wilkerson with 2. Ricky Sobers checks in. Kobe Dietrich is also in for the Bulls. That's one thing Chicago has now, a much better bench. They call Ricky Sobers the super sub. He has come in and really given the Bulls a lift off the bench.
Now, what they've had to do is they had to take Artis Gilmore out because that running game might have got him a little tired a little early.
And they can't afford to get that big man in foul difficulty. Maxwell at the line. He has 3 points thus far.
The Celtics have run off 5 straight points. This will be the 6th one if he hits it. And so they've got themselves right back into this game after trailing by 10.
Well, the timeout by Bill Fitch certainly paid some dividends for this Boston team. Boston with the best record in the NBA this year. Reggie Theus, he faked for it up and hit it. That was a tough shot because Theus actually made contact with Chris Ford. Theus now with 6 points. 16-10. Ford, who loves to shoot three-point area. Harris goes for the stuff. Dwight Jones is up in his face and commits the foul.
Well, it's pretty good defense by Chicago's part after the initial breakdown when the drive was able to be made. Here's Ford on the drive. Theus overcommitted. Now Dietrich, who was on the center, Parrish came over to help. Dwight Jones from the weak side comes over, which he has to do as the weak side. But unfortunately for the Bulls, he picked up the foul.
Robert Parrish, you see what he's shooting from the line from free throw. You can't do much better than that. He has been just remarkable all year long, and he's continued his regular season play right into the playoffs. 27 points and 17 points the 2 times out. Now with 4 tonight. Theus on 16-12. Chicago into Greenwood. To Greenwood. What touch this guy has at 6'9.5", 6 points now for Greenwood. Archibald off to Larry Bird. Bird. Rebound, Kobe Dietrich. And he almost did throw it away. Walked to the ball at the same time. He looked up the floor. Nobody was there. Tried to change it. All of a sudden, he was in a lot of trouble.
Oh, when you get a rebound as a big guy, the only time you should dribble before you look is if there's a guy giving you pressure, trying to steal the ball. Then you a couple of dribbles. Other than that, if you get solid, turn around and take a look up court and see where everybody is, and then you make your pass.
It's obvious, though, Bill, they're really thinking about running tonight, trying to get into a better transition than they have in the previous 2. Maxwell, kind of a running hook that time.
Yeah, that's the old jump hook. That's a shot that I remember one guy was unbelievable. Billy McGill had one of the greatest jump hooks I've ever seen.
18-14, a 4-point lead for Chicago. Dietrich off to Greenwood again, and he's got a hot hand. Perry zips it down. Here comes Archibald. Archibald with 7 assists in game number 2 to Ford. Ford has hit 8 of 12 from the field in this series. Doesn't Reggie Theus. Goaltending on Perry. Reggie, 14.
Reggie Theus probably as good as any guard in the league at being able to penetrate on the drive. Here you'll see him weave his way, makes a little move, gets through the 2 men. Archibald and Parrish. Parrish gets it on the way down. Goaltending.
Well, I'll give you something to think about, even if it is goaltending.
8 points for Reggie Theus. 3-pointer by Chris Ford, and that's his spot. That's Ford territory over there. Chris Ford had a 3-pointer earlier in this series. Out it comes to Dwight Jones, 20-17. Ford reaching in on Theus. Theus with 8 points already in the game. In series against the Knicks, he had a seasonal high 37. Ricky Sobers.
Ricky Sobers has more confidence going for him this year than any time in his life, I think. When he shoots the ball, he just thinks it's going in, and most of the time this year it was.
He's been the spark plug coming off the bench for the Chicago team. He did not start any games this year. Archibald, a foul on Greenwood, reaching in on Larry Bird.
Well, Bill, we've talked about it so often how big men really neglect boxing men off the boards, and that's an example of what can happen. Nobody screened Larry off that time. Greenwood turned and went to the basket.
And also, you should be aware of the fact that when a guy takes a shot from the top of the key, if he misses the shot, it's going to be a long rebound. And so, getting out the guys outside becomes even more important.
Larry Bird at the line. Substitution getting ready now to come into this lineup. Larry Keenan will check in. The former San Antonio Spur, and Dwight Jones will leave. This year had a remarkable game against this Boston team. He came in and scored 32 points. And he, even though losing his starting job to Dwight Jones 13 games ago, still has had a lot of playoff experience. Larry Bird makes it 22-18. Bird now with 5 points. Larry Bird in game number 1 had 23, but in the second game, Greenwood did an excellent defensive job on him. He had only 5 of 13 from the field. 22-19. Ford trying to stay on Theus. Mahalik says Ford has committed the foul. Pretty good move by Theus.
This Reggie Theus is a tough, real outstanding basketball player. And what he's doing is keeping offensive pressure on the Celtics. And rushing the ball up, and he's a threat anywhere inside the 3-point, even outside that. So they got to be aware of him. And this just subtle pressure helps over the period of a game.
Traveling by Robert Perry. Chicago with 4:33 to go in this first quarter. And the lead at 24-19 will inbounds it. Pressure in the backcourt. Ford and Archibald. You saw Greenwood hit one a moment ago. Greenwood had problems earlier with the wrist. It really hurt his shooting, but it's back down. Sobers. There's Greenwood ripping it down after Ricky Sobers. Good reaction by Greenwood. Sobers 6'3", a former #1 draft pick of the Phoenix Suns. Greenwood. Rebound by Keenan. They're really hitting the boards, and Maxwell up to Tiny Archibald. Archibald ducks in. Oh, he hits the ball. We have a foul on Kobe Dietrich. Archibald really hit hard.
Here's what Tiny does so well for this Boston Celtic team. Great opportunities. A little sidestep move. He leads in and out. It looked like he crashed right into Dietrich, who was set that time. And Jerry was really furious and up off the bench for the Bulls, and he had pretty good reason to be upset about that play.
Penalty in effect now. Archibald at the line. You know, Bill Fitch said after the last game that Archibald's now 40 years old instead of 32 because he was banged around so much on plays just like that one.
Archibald is doing the same for the Celtics that Theus is doing for the Bulls, and keeping that pressure up on offensively. You should always do that, because that way the defense will make them make more mistakes because of the continual pressure.
You had to look at Bill Fitch, the coach of the year last year for the Boston Celtics. David Greenwood, and right long away the ball. It's a picturesque form. Greenwood out of UCLA makes it 26-21. He already is in double figures with 10 points. Ford again, three-pointer for Chris Ford. He has hit 2 of them now. Chris Ford was 7th in the NBA in three-point plays. He hit 36 of them in the regular season. And now here tonight.
They went through a long dry spell there near the end of the season. It took him a long time to get back on track, but he's really got the mark down tonight.
2-point lead now for Chicago. And the pushing inside. Ford commits a foul on Theus. Theus is trying to get inside, and Ford now has committed 2, and the penalty's in.
What Theus is doing is keeping the pressure on, as I said, and Ford is not fast enough to keep up with him, but he's playing good position defense, and he just got caught that time.
Chris Ford, there was a lot of criticism of him. He went into that slump that Rick mentioned, but boy, did he play well in that game in Philadelphia for the Atlantic Division title.
Well, this whole Boston team, remember when we were talking to Bill Fitch, he said his team at one stretch was 10-2, but they weren't playing good basketball, and then they had some problems, but they sure turned it around. From one week to the next, it was like 2 different teams. Philly blew them out, and then when that exciting game came up the next Sunday, this team has played exceptionally well since that time.
Ford, and you might recall on March 29th, hit 7 of 10 from the field. 27-24, 3:10 remaining first quarter. And a foul on Ricky Sobers, trying to stay with Tiny Archibald. That's the first on Sobers. I don't know how this crowd can stay this noisy for the rest of the game. I don't know if they'll have left. There it is, better than 20,000, standing room only.
One thing about this team here, they really had a situation here where they were not supporting the team all that well, but as soon as this team turned it around, they have been out and supported. These people here know the game of basketball, Bill. They like good basketball, and when the team gives them that kind of basketball, they come out and support it.
Theus is now being taken out of the lineup, and Lester comes in. This is their #1 draft pick, Ronnie Lester.
Now, the Bulls are substituted a lot earlier because they have to in the running game. Because if you get in a whole season where you walk the ball up pretty much, you got a different kind of fatigue, as I said earlier. Now, they've been running real outstanding tonight, but this makes the fatigue is because you have to think about what you're doing, and that'll make you tired even quicker.
Archibald makes it a 1-point game. He has 4 points. 27-26. After trailing by 10 early. Boston now by only 1. Keenan up to Greenwood. Greenwood with a hot hand. 10 points. Now with 12. Greenwood has really gotten the Bulls off running in this game. 29-26. Greenwood now is 6 of 9 from the field for his 12 points. Larry Bird goes right around Keenan. And that against the Celtics is their 4th turnover. We're going to have a timeout call. Bill Fitch is storming. He is really upset about that last call on Larry Bird. 2:40 to go. First quarter, the Bulls lead at 29-26.
49-40. 49-40 at halftime.
A classic, the Masters, the third and fourth round coming up here on CBS at halftime. We'll be joining Brent Musburger in New York. He'll have highlights of the Milwaukee series and San Antonio and Houston. Ronnie Lester, the rookie from Iowa, missing his first attempt of the night. 29-26, Chicago with the lead. 2:23 to go in the first quarter. Bird to Archibald. I tell you, Bird just seems to see the entire floor, and there was a good example of it.
Well, that's why he's the type of player every coach would love to have.
Split vision, or peripheral vision. You can practice that so that you can see the whole court. Everybody on the court, you should be able to see them at all times, except when you're shooting.
2 minutes. A 1-point lead for Chicago. Here's Lester. Broken up by Maxwell. Cornbread Maxwell. He's going to take it all the way to the baseline out to Chris Ford. Ford, three-pointer. He has hit 3 of those. Chris Ford with 3 3-point plays. And the Celtics have a 31-29 lead.
I said all along, this team, better than any team in the league, uses that three-point opportunity, and you're going to see more and more of that as long as that is in. Teams will start to take advantage of it. It can really change a ball game.
Ford already with 9 points in the game. Silver's on the move. And that'll even it up, 31 all. We're all even with 1:23 to go in this first quarter. We have quite a game here, Chicago Stadium. Silvers with 4 points. Archibald will bring it up. Ronnie Lester's the man who was drafted in the first round by Portland, then traded for Kelvin Ramsey, who went on to Portland. Also coming to Chicago is another number 1 draft pick, Chris Ford. Ford off to Archibald. Nice fake by Tiny. And high with a rebound. Here's Greenwood. Off to Lester. Lester, beautiful pass for Larry Keenan. And Lester, who was out for except 8 games this year due to knee surgery, looks pretty good in the early going. Archibald.
Well, watch the last basket coming down. Here comes Lester with the ball. He'll go right by Chris Ford. He'll draw Larry Bird to him. Keep the on the right. There he comes wide open, busting down the floor. Dunk shot for the Bulls. Excellent fast break that time. But Tiny Archibald, Bill, he goes wherever he wants to go. They can't do anything with him, and that's the one. He is the one player, as we mentioned before the game, that the Bulls were concerned about, and now you see why.
Because he's so fast that you never get a chance to defensively. Because he's so busy just trying to keep up.
You see a change. Greenwood coming out. He has 12 points. Dwight Jones checks in. Greenwood had committed his second foul, and so Jerry Sloan gets him out of there as the Bulls have a 33-31 lead.
The one thing that I think the big difference I see, Bill, is that when the Celtics come down and get that penetration and to try to get the break, if it's not there, they flow very smoothly into what they want to do. The Bulls, when they don't have it, they seem to stand around. They're not quite sure as to what to do, and they don't run as smoothly on their offense.
Ricky Silvers penetrating very well. He has 6 points. Ricky Silvers has come off. He's had 6 game-winning shots for Chicago this year. He's just been remarkable. The start of the year, he wasn't on the team. They didn't even sign him. Then they did after Ronnie Lester got hurt. And now a foul against Chicago.
Ricky Silvers pushed the basket and a 3-man stack. The Celtics did down low, and Silvers was pushing the fight through.
So what you're finding here is that they usually expect the big guys to do a lot of pushing, but you'll find that the little guys are doing a lot of pushing. There they are. These guards are mixing it up pretty good.
I would say these two teams don't like each other very well. They are really letting each other know how they feel.
Jerry, that is an integral part of playoff competition. You play a team 4, 5, or 6 times in a row, you're going to create some animosity no matter how.
I tell you, I'm really surprised right now. The Bulls are doing a relatively good job of a running game, a quick transition type of game. And the big question is, can they keep it up for 4 quarters? Will they be able to sustain it? Just like Bill mentioned, Artis had to come out real early to get a rest. I don't know if they will be able to do that.
Harold Henderson is checked in at guard, number 43. You see him from the Boston Celtics. A very quick guard to Ronnie Lester. Lester, they say, his knee is at about 90% rehabilitation. He's worked hard, playing in only 8 games. They feel he's a super prospect. And away from the ball, a foul has been spotted against Theus. Reggie Theus, his first. You see the time left now in this first quarter. seconds.
The Bulls have done a good job of getting an inside game. Of course, they got a lot of those baskets off of break opportunities. They got 9 baskets inside of 12 feet. The Celtics only have 4.
Henderson, the quickness of Henderson. He's going to work that knee of Lester's. Chris Ford off to Henderson. 2 seconds. 1. Counted, had a drop. And after 12 minutes, Chicago Stadium erupts here as the fans are on their feet. The Bulls with a 35-32 lead. The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
So the rebound, Parrish, who missed it, went right through the glass, right over Theus, is back for the foul.
Ronnie Lester, who hasn't played all that much, getting some very experience, some meaningful minutes in this first half. Off to Theus. Theus, who had a breather there in the early going. Reggie Theus with 9 points. You saw Gilmore try to follow. Larry Keenan. Rebound, Bird, and it's physical. McHale was checked in, didn't see the ball, and he over Ronnie Lester. McHale did not see the outlet pass that was thrown to him.
Here we see the rebound opportunity after the Keenan miss. Right there, Bird has it. He tries to throw it to McHale. McHale didn't know it was coming, and he just steamrolled right over Ronnie Lester.
He says, if I'm going to get a foul for it, somebody will know about it.
That reminds me of the story Collins at one time where he got called for an offensive foul, and they didn't call it on him. Next time he came down and just killed the guy and said, now that is an offensive foul.
Boy, McHale looked like a wide receiver running a pattern that time. 35-32, the first foul on McHale. McHale's played well in this series. Parrish, he comes up with a steal to Chris Ford. Back is Dwight Jones, and Ford will wait. McHale on the baseline. He's trying to get it to him. Can't. I tell you, Ford better keep shooting the three-pointers.
He should have backed out there. He's 3 for 3 from three-point range, 0 for 2 from inside close, and he could have moved back and taken it that time.
10:45 to go. Second. Reggie Theus. They give him some operating room. Up to Dwight Jones. Rebound Gilmore. He's fouled by Parrish. And Parrish now has 2 personal fouls. They're really hitting those offensive boards.
And of course, we know from past experience that Robert Parrish is a man that a lot of times they can ill afford to lose. When he's got out of the game, they've had some difficulties. Of course, they've got a player by the name of Rick Roby who does a pretty darn good job filling in for him. And here he comes.
Rick Roby, who can really pound the boards, and also checking into the ball game, Ricky Sobers.
They say he hits a couple guys at the table on the way out just to get ready for the game.
The ball game is Henderson, Tiny Archibald in. Or check that, ML Carr coming in for him. It'll be Archibald and Carr at the guards. Rick Roby, Larry Bird, and Kevin McHale. Here's Gilmore. Gilmore out of there after picking up 2 fouls early. He has 2 points thus far. We've been setting on this 35-32 score ever since the end of that first quarter of play. We have 10:37 left in the second quarter. Now, 4-point lead for Chicago. Tiny Archibald off to ML Carr. Carr played very well in the second game of the series. Here's Rick Roby at 6'10" out of Kentucky. Archibald. Archibald, he put that one up. That was a guesser, I think.
That was called your Hail Mary.
It counts.
His prayers were answered.
Yes, they were. It's a good Irish Catholic town, Boston, right?
Archibald with 8 points on that rainbow shot. There, Larry missing a couple. Now hits one. He has 4 points. 38-34. Archibald again, always pushing, always forcing the issue. Larry Bird on the move. Beautiful pass to Roby. Bird also took out a couple of guys on his move inside.
A little contact there.
Really?
A lot of contact there.
38-36, Chicago by 2. Boy, Bird with the excellent ability to pass the ball. They say the best since Bob Cousy to play with the Celtics. Here's Reggie Theus. That's goaltending on Kevin McHale.
Here's that last play. Let's see how contact it really was. Bill Bird will get the ball from Tiny. He makes his move as he gets by Larry Keenan. Over to help comes Artis. Passes off, crashes into Artis. Artis falls down. He takes down someone else as Roby dunks 2 points in. Now, there was either a block or a charge on the part of Bird that time.
Like the domino theory. McHale over to Dwight Jones. Now he has a chance for a 3-point play.
Now here's the same play in a different angle. Just talking about. Let's see if Artis gets set as Larry makes his move. Artis moves over when Larry's committed. That should have been a block. No foul was called, but the Celtics don't mind because Roby dumps home 2 points. It's a 2-point lead right now with 9:16 to go in the second quarter.
40-38. Let's go back on that play a moment ago.
What I'd like to show you, Gary, is now Larry Keenan has Bird. Now Bird has him beaten here. He gives him a fake, gets him up. Now Bird has him beaten. He sees his man, Artis Gilbert pick his man up. He should have run over to Roby. Instead, he stood there out of defense. And so Roby ends up with a dunk shot. See the pass off there.
And then there's Dwight Jones, who was coming to help from the weak side, but Artis fell into him and knocked him down, so he couldn't get over to help out. Roby had the easy dunk.
But the reason I want to show that was the concept of team defense is when you get beat, you should go and help out the guy that got to pick your man up.
Garrett used one statistic at the quarter, rebound statistic. 11-3, the Bulls just killed the Celtics on the boards.
And you know most of those had to be on the offensive end, the way they've been following. 1-point lead now for the Chicago Bulls. Ricky Sobers. Rick Roby brings it down. Roby up to ML Carr. Carr this year who switched to the guard spot. Brings it out to Archibald. And Tiny now will set it up. 8:53 to go until halftime. We'll be joining Brent Musburger. Highlights of that Philadelphia-Milwaukee series. San Antonio. Larry Bird. Larry Bird now with 8 points. And the Celtics with a 1-point lead, 41-40.
Larry got that shot because Rick Roby screened his man off, and the man guarding Roby never stepped out. That's why Bird was open.
Diaz tipped out by McHale. It'll be Chicago's basketball. Coming in, Greenwood will come back. Greenwood had 12 points in that first quarter. Larry Keenan will check out. There he is, their number 1 draft pick a year ago. He was the 2nd pick overall in the draft. As you can see, the high scorer in our game. As Reggie Theus, well, it's going to be Greenwood who inbounds it for Chicago. They have a fresh 24 seconds. McHale to pick up Greenwood. 2 fine young players in the NBA against each other. Sobers up to Theus. Theus driving Carr. And Carr committing the foul. That's his first personal.
Outstanding lateral movement and good speed for a man his side. Carr just a half a step late, catches him with the body.
Boy, it's 6'7". You forget he's that tall, the way he moves around out there. Theus to average almost 19 points a game. Greenwood changed his shot, and McHale fouled it. Greenwood having trouble that time, tried to alter it. And that's the second foul on Kevin McHale, who was the most valuable player on our game. Televised game number 1 from the Boston Garden. Here is Greenwood. David Greenwood shooting 49% from the field, but he was shooting so well early in the year, hurt the wrist. It was so bad, even bend his wrist. Now he's back strong and shooting like he did last year. And that was certainly indicative of what a future this young man's going to have. 13 points of David Greenwood. He's tied it up 41 all. 8:15 to go until intermission. Archibald to Rick Roby. Roby. Gilmore up. Bird saves it. Up to Carr. ML Carr.
Good hustle play by Larry Bird.
43-41. Carr, who missed 41 games this year due to an injury. He was one of the few guys glad to see the season ended so he could get in shape. Gilmore, tough shot. Roby made it difficult for him. Archibald. Tiny has Roby. Roby wide open. Gilmore comes out. It looks like he blocked the shot. Fitz thought they should have goaltending. He's up and yelling at the official. Sobers. Here it comes to Carr again.
It was McHale who made the block again. McHale, who had 5 blocks, I believe, in that game, number 1. Here's a great pass by Archibald to Roby inside.
And Rick Roby, a little pirouette that time. 45-41. Roby with 4 points.
So we're starting to run out of control. They're going to have to start playing a little better control of themselves. They're losing the... Here's the Archibald on that play there.
Watch this pass. Archibald sees Roby cut behind. He has to go 1 step too far, otherwise he would have a cinch layup, but he just makes a good strong move and takes it up over Artis.
Roby Foul at the other end. Gilmore at the line. The penalty in for the Bulls after being so hot in that first quarter have cooled off. They've now hit only 2 of 9.
Well, what they have done is they've lost control of just a little bit. They're running, and they're not used to running. And so when you're not tired, it's all right. You can do that. But when you get a little tired, the first thing that goes is the clear thinking. And so that now they're running without purpose. And so that if they're going to stay in this ballgame, they're going to have to slow it down and get themselves under control again.
Boston's run off 9-2 to take over the lead, and I agree 100% with Bill. Chicago's really playing right into their hands, right?
45-42, Boston to the lead. Kevin McHale, a rookie at 6'11", out of Minnesota. You know, he was the best of all rookies this year as far as field goal percentage. He shot 53%. Bobby Wilkerson. Wilkerson makes it 47-44. Wilkerson with 6 points. He's the man they picked up as a free agent from Denver. Tiny Archibald. Rebound, Wilkerson. Wilkerson, who played on that NCAA championship team from the University of Indiana. Up to Dwight Jones, and they're now starting to back in. They trail by 1.
They're climbing in because what they did is they got the ball inside. They played Chicago Bull basketball that time and played the power game. They didn't go out and run around crazy.
Dwight Jones with his first 2 points of the evening. Roby looking for some help. 9 seconds on the shot clock. M.L. Carr. Gilmore up, rips it down. Artis Gilmore, who was 8th in the NBA in rebounds with a 10.1 average. Bobby Wilkerson. Kevin McHale brings it down.
Everyone right back to that shot. Right back to that running game, taking a bad shot.
Archibald to Bird, 3-pointer for Larry Bird. With another rebound. He's had 2 defensive rebounds from inside. Ricky Summers, you see that? He faked his man, but then he took his eye off the basket.
He put a little bit too much on that one. He tried to fake too much. There's the ball's going to be called as a kick by Dwight Jones. It'll be the Boston Celtics
That
ball.
was not a good call. The referee just called kicking the ball.
It was thrown.
Because the ball was passing through his foot, unless they call a timeout before he did that.
No, it was considered being kicked, even though it was thrown at his knee. We have a timeout. 5:31 to go, second quarter. The Celtics with a 1-point lead. Before that timeout, we had a breakdown the floor by Ricky Sobers. Let's look at it.
There he makes his move. See when he get up in the air, he put the ball way into his left hand. He tried to make too much out of that play, and it cost him because he was not able to maintain as good a control with it.
I want to remind you, tomorrow is that long debut of the CBS Sports Saturday. Brent Musburger, the host, and a very interesting story developing out in Los Angeles and Montreal, revolving around Ram quarterback Vince Ferragamo, Don Klosterman, Georgia Rosenblum. They'll have their thoughts on that subject as the show debuts tomorrow right here on CBS. Point lead now for the Celtics. 5:21 to go till half. M.L. Carr. Look at Bird. He anticipated that one all the way, and he's fouled.
That's only the second team foul against the Bulls. The Celtics have 5. They're in the penalty situation, so that really won't hurt the Bulls, except, again, no one screened Larry Bird off the board. Free throw shooting Chicago this quarter, Gary's really hurt them. They're only 3 for 6 for the whole game so far. They're shooting 54.5, 6 for 11. That's not very good.
That foul was on Greenwood. He checks out. You look at Larry Keenan, 35, who's checked in for Chicago. Greenwood, the first man to get into foul difficulty. 47-46, Boston by 1. Kevin McHale off to M.L. Carr. Sobers. Gets inside to McHale and a pushing off. Kevin McHale pushed off to get to the ball. That will be his third. So all of a sudden, Kevin McHale's in foul difficulty. He's going to come out of there. Cedric Maxwell will check in as soon as he can.
The thing is between Rick Roby and Robert Parrish, they led all the center tandem in scoring for this year.
Larry Keenan off to Ricky Sobers. Oh, he's got a pretty shot. Ricky Sobers now with 8 points. A 1-point lead for Chicago. McHale, though. And this affair gives the lead back to the Boston Celtics.
You know, he runs as well as any big man in the league now. He's probably the best running big man in the league, Kevin McHale.
And he plays both ends of the floor. Doesn't he? An excellent shot blocker. There's Larry Keenan. Keenan, after a cold spell earlier, now has 6 points. 50. Seesaw back and forth, 4:21 to go until half. Larry Bird. Gilmore. 7'2" Gilmore, who battled back from knee surgery a year ago. Shot 67% from the field to lead the NBA. Here's Sobers. Carr trying to give chase to him, and Sobers with another one. Rebound over Rick Roby. Comes out of there with it. Bird has it. It's planting. M.L. Carr.
They're going to have to get Jerry Sloan real quick with the technical. He is going crazy on the other side of the court. He just cannot believe the calls that his team is not getting.
Jerry Sloan, possibly popular player ever to play for the Chicago Bulls. You talk about defense, he could really play it. Sobers again. Sobers wants the basketball. 52-51 Chicago, 3.5 minutes. What a game we have. Game 3 from Chicago Stadium. Archibald to Bird. Larry Bird, difficult. Dwight Jones over the top. He commits the foul.
Okay, Larry Bird just crashed right into a Chicago Bull that time. After he shot the ball, they didn't call the foul, and now the Bulls wind up with another one. But watch Bird. Now right there, he crashes right into Ricky Sobers on that play. No foul call. There's Dwight Jones being called over the back of Roby.
Now Jones has 3 personals. Sloan has 2 of his players, Greenwood and Dwight Jones, with 3 fouls each. 52-51. Chicago by 1. Bird. Real pressure put on by Larry Keenan, and Keenan lands on him. No. 3 seconds in the lane. That basket will not count. That turns it over to Chicago. Pretty good defense that time. Chicago denying Bird the inside. That's 6 turnovers now against Boston. Larry Keenan, and Keenan is fouled by Cedric Maxwell. That's the Cornbread.
I don't think that Cornbread agreed with that call. I think he said that I think he made an error.
Who's
he? He had something to say about the Bulls, I think.
Yes.
Who is we, Bill? All right, Chicago. 1-point lead. We come back with 2:59 left in this first half. Here to check your local listings, and tonight the Sixers have defeated the Bucks 108-103, and Brett Musburger will have highlights of that game coming up at halftime. So after Billy C. lost one at home, he got it back tonight.
You see the free throws being missed. That was a big game, Gary, up there, certainly for the Sixers to win in Milwaukee. They've got, of course, playing again this Sunday, but free throws hurting Chicago. They run off 10-4 to get back into this game, and there's another free throw missed by the Bulls.
Keenan missing both of them. Chicago still with a 1-point lead. Tiny Archibald on him. Larry Bird picked up by Keenan and pushing off again. Going to be on Kobe Dietrich.
Still, it will not be the penalty situation. It's only the 4th foul on the Bulls. Here we'll watch the play away. Dietrich tries to beat Maxwell to the spot. He does. He's in front, but he doesn't realize he has no help behind him. As a result, Maxwell was wide open, but he pushed off. The ball never got to him.
Kobe Dietrich committing his 2nd personal foul. Larry Bird backing in on Keenan. Little body contact. And Keenan looks like he's picked up a foul.
And that, of course, will be the penalty situation. So very quickly, the Bulls lose that advantage. And the way they've shot free throws, only for 8 so far in this quarter, it has really hurt them.
That's unusual, because this Boston team is an excellent shooting ball club.
That's Chicago's 3-3.
This Boston team, Larry Bird now has tied it up 52-all. Bird now with 9 points.
That's only the 2nd free throw that Boston's taken.
Larry Bird makes it 53-52. 2 minutes, 37 seconds to go until halftime. Here is Wilkerson at 6'6", the smallest man in the starting lineup for the Chicago Bulls. Reggie Vias trying to shake ML. Into Artis Gilmore, and a whistle. Lee Jones spots somebody inside with a foul.
Well, when Artis gets the ball inside, it looks like a green and white blanket all of a sudden just covers him up. We'll watch Artis come in to get the ball. Now watch all the green and white jerseys. The Celtics will just completely go around. And Tiny stays to help. There's Bird. He has a lot of company when he gets the ball.
Well, one of the things that he does, Rick, is he never makes a move without putting the ball down near the floor or on the floor.
For a big man, that's not right, huh?
Well, that gives the little guys a chance to help out and be effective helping out.
That foul was on Archibald, by the way, his second. 54 through the Bulls with a 1-point lead. Cornbread on Kobe Dietrich, M.L. Carr. M.L. Carr has 6 points. Again, Boston with a 1-point lead. Theus, who's been shut down after getting off to a fast start in this ball game. He scored 9 points in the first quarter. 2 in the second. Dietrich, Gilmore. There's Scott May, former #1 draft pick, who's on the injury list for the Chicago Bulls. He sure had a tough career so far, hasn't he, injury-wise? Dick Roby. Here's Tiny Archibald. The Bulls working hard on defense. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 4 3-pointers for M.L. Carr. Gilmore over Maxwell. The Bulls with a 1-point lead. It's been going back and forth that way in the second quarter. Kobe Dietrich. Follow. Instead, M.L. Carr has it. Archibald Sloan is really upset again on the far side. And that'll be traveling against the Celtics. And so Chicago with a minute 7 will head down the other end. That's 7 turnovers against Boston. Bill
This gets a little carried away at times. So sometimes the pace, even with a good team, the pace will get out of control. Because you see so many things that are open, and it's hard to make up your mind which one to take. And whenever you get to that, you're indecisive, and that's when the mistakes come up.
Ricky Silver as we come down to a minute remaining in a very, very intense struggle here at Chicago Stadium. Silvers with Archibald on him. Reggie Theus makes a move on Carr. There's Keenan. A 3-point lead now for Chicago.
Reggie Theus made that play with his penetration. He made the breakdown. Keenan was able to get open.
Keenan with 8 points.
And the penetration he made is he didn't go all the way to the back. He just got into the lane there. And that makes the defense have to react.
Maxwell and Dietrich having quite a shoving match inside. Archibald. Tiny Archibald. Jim saying the other day, I know how Archibald plays. I played against him 6 years in the NBA. In fact, his assistant coach, Bill Johnson, was a coach with Kansas City when Tiny was there.
Jerry had a great comment about Tiny. He says, well, he really has some fault in his game. He doesn't dunk very well on the slam dunks, and he also doesn't block many shots.
Time left, 4 seconds. Silvers, top shot. 60-57, and that's going to wind down to the end of our first half of play. The Chicago Bulls, trailing 2 games to none, have a 3-point lead at halftime over the Boston Celtics, 60-50. It has been some first half of play, and this crowd of better than 20,000 is enjoying it. In a moment, Brett Musburger will be along to bring you highlights of that Philadelphia win tonight, as we will be joining him as we pause for this. The Chicago Bulls with a 3-point lead at halftime over the Boston Celtics. 57. The Bulls with their best shooting statistics thus far of this series. They're shooting 56% in the first half of play. The one thing that we talked about at the top of the show was tempo. You might recall that we quoted Reggie Theus about the fact that he said we have to push the ball up the floor more. More of a transition game. Well, it has paid off. And Bill Russell and Rick Barry will be back in a moment to talk about that transition game, the tempo, after we return after these messages as the NBA on CBS continues. Our 3-point game, we're just about ready to start the second half. Let's look back now at the first half as Rick Barry and Bill Russell analyze the first 24 minutes.
Thank you very much, Gary. Bill, it's basically, I feel, have been a Boston Celtic type game. However, the Chicago Bulls have outshot them. They're controlling the boards. They're doing an excellent job and would have a bigger lead if it weren't for the free throw shooting that they've had. Very poor. Do you think the Chicago Bulls can beat the Celtics if they still play this Celtic game in the second half?
No, I don't think so. I think that what they should try to do, they've come out, they've taken a strong position in the game. They prove they can do that. But what they should try to do is get the Celtics to play a Chicago Bulls second half. Slow it down, because what happened is that a tendency to get out of control much easier much quicker when you're not used to playing that way. And you create other problems for yourself when you try to play a whole game or a whole series at pace. You've got to try to make them come to you a little bit. So they should try to cut off the outlet pass, keep down the boards, but they should slow down and make the Celtics have to play half-court defense.
Well, it's a golden opportunity for the Chicago Bulls, and let's see if they can do it. Back to you, Gary.
All right. Each of our NBA telecasts this year, we've been selecting the Miller Most Valuable Player of the Game. In conjunction with this award, Miller will present a check for $1,000 to the Special Olympics organization in the name of the player selected. And at the conclusion, we'll announce that as Bill and Rick and I will be voting on it. And right now, as you look at this first half of play, Chicago trailing 2 games to none with a 3-point lead at halftime. The leading scorer in the first half, as you look at Jerry Sloan, has been David Greenwood with 13 points. Interestingly enough, 12 of those came in the first quarter of play. And there's the shooting statistics, the free throws that were missed that Rick Barry mentioned. The Bulls with only 53% hitting 8 of 15. But they shot so well from the field, shooting over 56% in the first half. Robert Parrish. And look at the white shirts around the ball. Rebound to White Jones. Starting the second half, it'll be Bobby Wilkerson along with Theus at the guards. To White Jones. Artis Gilmore. David Greenwood to open for Jerry. That's the way he started the ball game. He's the high point man on the floor with 15 points. Larry Bird off to Cedric Maxwell. It'll be Archibald, Ford, Bird, Maxwell, and Parrish starting the second half. They have a foul inside. That's to White Jones, I believe. No, they're going to call it on Gilmore. That's his third.
They got Artis Gilmore for grabbing Parrish. Parrish is starting to make the move. Now right there, he hooks it with the left arm, and that's where the foul occurred.
3 fouls on Gilmore, 3 on Jones, 3 on Greenwood. So the Bulls with some foul difficulty. Here's Robert Parrish, Artis Gilmore. Boy, it's a tough shot to block, isn't it, when you're 7 foot tall?
Well, not the guy you're looking at is 7'2". But you have to get up on Robert Parrish and get up on him with his right side and make him go to his left or pass the ball off.
Broken up by Archibald. Theus. Pass on the baseline. 13 seconds on the shot clock as the Bulls will inbound it. To White Jones to do the honors. To Wilkerson. Chased his shot and hit it.
That's a tough shot Wilkerson threw up there. He had a very tough shot.
Floating jump hook. That's going to be off of Parrish. Gilmore reached up. Touched it last. 8 turnovers against the Boston Celtics. 5-point lead. The biggest lead of this game was a 10-point lead in the first quarter by the Chicago Bulls. Bobby Wilkerson, Archibald on him. Good ball movement. Chris Ford broke it up. Out to Archibald. No. Bobby Wilkerson with it. Boy, he averted some problems over there.
Yeah, like taking off Ralph Melchiori, the Boston Celtics trainer's head.
You see Casey Jones, the old teammate, he didn't seem to be bothered at all over there.
Oh, he knew the guy. Either he knew he was going to jump over or the reflexes are gone.
Maybe the latter, huh? 64, 59, and 22 to go, third quarter. Bird up to Parrish over Gilmore. Rebound Jones, and the Bulls in that first half did a good job on the rebound. And they're doing it again. Bird with a steal. Archibald in trouble. And we're going to have traveling. No foul, traveling. Tiny Archibald.
There comes the play again. Watch this. Cut Tiny Archibald off right there. Get in front. Tiny with the little stutter steps before the collision. That's a good call by Paul Mahoward.
And the Bulls are throwing that ball away because they're taking the ball down too fast and not setting it up.
Boy, that's a wild shot, and he is called for a foul as he tries to follow his own shot.
And that's another example of they're playing out of control. You have to, if you're going to run a fast break, it has to be controlled. When they should run the ball down, stop, count 2 seconds, and then start running the offense.
Theus said coming into this game, we have to win 2 of them here in Chicago Stadium. And the Bulls right now with a 64-59 lead. Chris Ford, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Parrish is open. Robert Parrish now with 8 points. 64. Theus, who in the first half had 11 points. Looks in. Back door, Gilmore. And as he tried to move, he wanted the ball.
And what happens is he brings that ball down almost to his knees every time before he makes a move. That gives the guys a chance to reach right in and step to try to protect the ball.
That's just a bad habit you get into?
Very bad.
There's the lob pass. Gilmore gets it right there. A little shuffle with the feet. He walks with the basketball.
Jack with the lead after 2 rounds is the Masters. The 3rd round tomorrow right here on CBS. Tom Watson's been struggling, but he seemingly has gotten his game back together.
Well, I think it's rather appropriate. The most prestigious golf tournament in the world with the 2 greatest players in the world at 1 and 2. Some weekend coming up here, a great golfing weekend.
61, Kansas City in Game 3 defeating Phoenix tonight, 93-92. They lead 2 games to 1. Larry Bird.
He sprained his ankle. Larry Bird's down. He twisted his ankle.
Up it comes down to Greenwood. Larry Bird shaking it off. Bill Pitts may call for a 20 timeout. Is he going to? He's looking over to see. They're not going to stop it. Bird evidently is going to continue. You can see he was testing it out after that big power move on the baseline. 66-63. Cornbread. There's Sloan in the background. Yelling some instructions defensively. Robert Page. Boy, with that beautiful high-arching jump shot, he has 10 points. Look at him. He's having trouble, man.
You know, not too bad. I've had that happen a lot, Gary. You twist it, it hurts real bad for a couple of minutes, and it goes away, and as long as you keep playing, you usually don't have too much difficulty with it.
And Pitch is watching him ever so closely from the sideline. Otis Birdsong, you might recall, the game we did Tuesday night, sprained his ankle. Bobby Wilkerson. There's Pitch. He's head down now. 10 points for Wilkerson. Wilkerson not known for his shooting. Averaged only 10 points during the year. And Harris now is carrying. He has 12 points. He has 4 field goals in the second half. Greenwood. Oh, what a shot by Greenwood. 70-67. They're just matching baskets right now. Greenwood with 19 points. David Greenwood. Off to Prince Ward. Out from Archibald. Wilkerson. Maxwell, they have a switch now, a mismatch, and Gilmore comes out to pick him up. Maxwell scores and hits the floor. 1-point game again. Cornbread with 9 points. And the tempo is quick. Pierce to Greenwood. To White Jones. Hirsch. Jones thought he should have had a foul. Maxwell. Greenwood reaching in on him. The score, 3-pointer. He finally missed one after hitting 3 in a row from the 3-point range. And now the Bulls will slow it down. Bobby Wilkerson to stabilize him a little bit now. A 1-point lead for Chicago. The last time these 2 teams met here was January 29th. The Bulls won by 23. Gilmore.
Good penetration and pass by Bobby Wilkerson.
10 points now. Artis Gilmore. Larry Bird.
Beautiful pass. That's a great play. What Maxwell did was he passed the ball and kept right on moving. And right into the open place that you get when you get these zone defenses.
Chicago's lead cut to 1.
That's the old give and go. Very old basketball play, but it worked so effectively. And it worked to perfection that time by Bird and Maxwell.
That's the way the Celtics used to do it, and they are continuing to do it. One of the fundamentals of their game for the next year. Larry Bird. I think his ankle's all right.
Looks like it might be okay. So here's the play we're talking about. Now Maxwell makes the penetration. Pretty good Chicago defense. Gilmore could have been out, but Bird right away spots his man Maxwell cutting to the basket open. He hits him. The Celtics are on the move. They've regained the lead. They're up by 1.
Jack Nicklaus going for his 6th win there.
Don't call me to help peel the glue off after it's over.
The Masters tomorrow. Boy, what an exciting moment that's going to be right here on CBS. Well, we've had outstanding in this 3rd quarter. Chicago 6 of 7. Boston 8 of 11. Parrish has 8 points in this quarter. Greenwood was 6. And a move by Ricky Silvers is checked in. And we're going to have a foul. Ricky Silvers reaching over as he tried to follow that missed shot.
Larry Bird, excellent position rebounder. And once he gets the position there, He knows how to keep the position. What you do when you have this thing is you don't jump straight up. You try to jump into it, anticipate the guy, jump over his shoulder. If you jump into it a little bit, it makes you go straight up.
That foul going on Sobers, his third. Very sad. Greenwood comes out with it. Up to Thea's point. He go by Maxwell. Reggie Thea's will give it off to Larry Keenan, who's checked in. Chicago Bulls down by 1. 73-72. Gilmore. And as he wheels in, he's fouled by Perry. Now, Bill, we were just talking. Coming in, Gilmore only shot the ball 16 times in the first 2 games.
Well, the reason for that is he can't get a shot off because in order to shoot, he has to take the ball down low. And with help from the guards and forwards, it's effective when a big guy that brings the ball down low. Yes. He gets a lot of calls for traveling. The defensive man a chance to block a shot, like Perry did at the beginning of the game.
That's his third. That foul on Archibald, he's third. Parrish, Archibald, and McHale, all three have 3 personal fouls. Sobers, Parrish, intimidated, Greenwood. David Greenwood now with 8 points. Third quarter, 74-73 Chicago. Larry Bird on a power move. Parrish to follow. Wait a minute, Mahalik has spotted a foul. Parrish really hammered the boards. Here's the last play. Great backdoor play. Stops Sobers from being able to get it. He goes up with the shot. Parrish knocks it away, but Greenwood gets the lucky bounce, puts it in the basket. At the other end, it was Greenwood with the foul. That's his 4th. Bird into Maxwell. David Greenwood in foul difficulty, playing tough ball now defensively on Maxwell. Chris Ford wide open. Rebound. Larry Keenan at 6'9" to Ricky Sobers. Sobers. Bad stuff. Archibald. To Maxwell. To Bird. They didn't even dribble the basketball. They moved it so quickly that time.
See what happens when Chicago runs the ball. They don't take good shots because they're not playing their game. Well, these guys are.
Boston will get it in high gear in a hurry. That foul was on Keenan, his 2nd personal foul.
That's the 15th foul, so it's a pendulum situation against the Bulls. Bird, of course, was shooting last week. The Celtics are in a very good position with only 2 team fouls. They can be very aggressive.
I have a correction. It was on Greenwood, and that's 5 on him. David Greenwood is now taking a seat on the bench, and he doesn't like that when it's called. 5 fouls on David Greenwood. Bill Fitch. That layoff, awaiting this series, and boy, they came out of the chute and won the first 2. Greenwood going on the bench really hurts him because he's hit all 4 of his shots this quarter.
But the one thing, this game they're letting it get quite physical. That was the first free throw Larry Bird shot. That was the first one that any team shot this quarter.
15 points for Larry Bird in that first half. Boston from the free throw line was 14 of 17 for 82%. And now, the Celtics have a 1-point lead, 75-74. The Bulls would like to win their first game of this series, down 2 games to none. Keith Sobers, rebound, Gilmore. Gilmore to Keenan. Keenan blocked partially by Parrish, and his body's going everywhere. Ball foul coming up against the Celtics. Larry Bird picking up the foul. We will see the glass. Keenan makes the move inside. Parrish goes up and he deflects it. Bird inside. You see him pushed off with his left hand. Looks like he shoved Theus on that play. 2 fouls on Larry Bird. To White Jones. Looks to Cutter Sobers. Now to Keenan. Keenan using a screen to Reggie Theus. Theus with a 1 shot. And Reggie Theus with his first points of the second half. He has 13. Again, the Bulls by 1. Boy, this crowd is alive here at Chicago Stadium. Archibald to Larry Bird. 3:40 to go, third quarter. There's Archibald. Bird follows his own. What ability this guy has. What body control he has. Larry Bird with 18 points. 8 of them in this third quarter. 77-76 Boston. Reggie Theus. Ford drops off of him. That was a mistake. Reggie Theus, who was quiet for some time in this quarter, now has hit 2 back-to-back. for Theus. Cornbread Maxwell backing in on Jones. Perry. Boy, great concentration. He had everybody taking a swipe at the ball and still hit it.
He's called wearing out Art Gilmore. This third quarter.
He has 14 points. Here's Gilmore. Gilmore hits it. He's fouled. That's for a three-point play. That's on Parrish. That's his fourth.
He had a close up advantage because this is not his pace of game. Now here's the lob pass. He holds Parrish off. He gets the rebound. Parrish can fill the shove. A pump fake. Parrish waits for it. Goes up. Picks up the foul. Basket goes in.
Artis Gilmore will come back to shoot the free throw. We're right now a timeout with 2:46 to go in the third quarter. The Bulls by 180-79. You mentioned how tired they are. Gilmore said they were tired coming out of that New York Knicks series. Story that I think you'll want to watch. The story centers around Vince Ferragamo of the Los Angeles Rams. Will he head north or will he stay with Los Angeles? That's all tomorrow right here on CBS. And tonight on CBS, we have quite a game. 80-79. Look at this thus far. Kind of even, aren't they?
They are. Both teams doing a good job of getting inside. Chicago with 7 inside baskets this quarter, 6 for the Celtics, and you can't get much more even than they're playing right now.
Gilmore at that three-point play. Gives the Bulls a 2-point lead. Larry Bird. Larry Bird has 20 points. 5-point man. He had 10 in the first half. 81 all. 2:27 to go until the end of this third quarter. Silver dropped it to White Jones. Jones backing in on Larry Bird, looking baseline to Keenan. There's Gilmore, and Gilmore, who scored the last 3, couldn't get up for him. Mighty off the ball. Silver's going to have to stop him, and they don't. Rebound to White Jones. Look at the hustle by Rick Roby. Roby on the floor. Casilla to White Jones. Jones. And then Lodge up against the rim, and they're going to jump it up.
A lot of aggravation there, boy. They better go after that one.
There's the play now. Right there, into your picture comes the little basketball.
That's the call gets no bounce.
Listen, this game's been so fast-paced, the ball won the rest.
You can't play this game without a ball, right? 81. All. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Larry Keenan. Rebound, Larry Bird. Bird, who was fourth in the NBA in rebounding this year, averaging 11 per game. Rick Roby. Roby looked like Archibald that time.
That was a great trailer fast break. He was the fourth man down the court, and the great bounce pass led it to Roby, and the Celtics, one of the best teams in the history of the game, of course.
Roby now with 6 points. 83-81. There's Keenan. There's Keenan in this one earlier. That's the roll. It's all even again. Keenan now with 10 points. Larry Keenan, who had his best production of the year against the Celtic team in the regular season with 32. Archibald using a screen. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Look at timing. He's getting away with murder in there.
Well, Larry Keenan had to get in the baseline, shut it off. He just turned and opened up the door for Tiny when he drove to the baseline. You've got to force him back to the middle where you can get some help.
Boy, you can see the ratings are up in NBA basketball, and you see this type of basketball being played. Playoff basketball in the NBA. Bird brings it down again. 85-83, the Celtics by 2. Archibald up to Chris Ford. 3-pointers. Followed by Maxwell. He caught him napping on that play. And now a 4-point lead for Boston. Cedric Maxwell with 13. Maxwell has played well. He had 21 points in game 1 in this series. Ricky Sobers now setting it up. The Bulls, what an effort they have put in, but they're still down by 4 points. Last trip possibly down the floor in the third quarter. Makes it a 2-point game. Roby didn't see it. Maxwell did. He had more time than that. I don't believe Maxwell knew he had that much time. 2 seconds, and that will end our third quarter. A 2-point lead for the Boston Celtics with 12 minutes to go. The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
Sunday, witness 2 men who changed the world. Their story will amaze you. Their courage will inspire you. Witness Peter and Paul, Sunday.
This is CBS.
すみませんが靴を脱いでください。
She wants me to take my shoes off.
それは習慣です。
She says it's a tradition. Well, comfort's a tradition at Fava. Nice soft leathers, $25.
それも大好きです。
She likes them. And you like the savings on other Favas too. $20 for Fava leather Oxfords. For lightweight canvas. Fava shoes feel so good, you don't want to take them off. Even when you have to.
You take coffee or tea?
Now our land is in your reach on American Airlines. From April 20th through May 31st, San Diego, Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and much more. $149 on Americans' incredibly low Amerifares. Amerifares, $149. The best way ever to make our land your land on the number one choice.
Popping up with lots of reasons for owning a Honda.
A lot of car for your money.
Michael, Honda dealer gave me a great price on a new Honda. Nice.
Great resale value.
Love my Honda. He would put me a drive. I want you according to maintenance in my... See what you did.
This issue for you to take.
Well built.
Thank you.
A Honda.
Accord hatchbacks are available right now at the right place at your Tri-State Honda dealer.
Come in now.
Honda.
Los Nidos.
New Jersey is...
Be sure now to stay with us. Stay tuned. We'll be announcing the MVP at the conclusion of the game. We'll also plan on being with us Sunday, as we'll have two games right here on CBS. Be sure and check your local listings. Philadelphia at Milwaukee, Boston at Chicago, 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. 12 minutes left in this one. Number 3, a 2-point lead for the Boston Celtics. Larry Keenan, Kobe Dietrich has checked in. Keenan in trouble. Save. Beautiful play that time by Dwight Jones. It's all even. That's a big break that time for the Bulls. That really is a bad pass, and he got away with it. In that third quarter, Chicago with 50 from the field. The Celtics with 58. Kobe Dietrich trying to stop that drive has committed the foul. There are the stats. Look at that. The Celtics from the free throw line after doing so well in the first half. Yes, they had a great inside game. They were 9 for 13 inside of 12 feet. The Bulls are pretty good at 18, but the Celtics dominated that inside game in that third quarter. Gilmore on the bench right now. Greenwood on the bench with 5 fouls as we start this fourth quarter. Maxwell. Cedric Maxwell. He's had every imaginable offensive move in this game. He has 15 points. 89-87. Kobe Dietrich now at the pivot spot. They give Artis Gilmore a breather. Rebound for scored. A foul situation. Greenwood with 5. Jones, Gilmore, and Sobers with 3. Perry has 4. McHale with 3. Broken up. Maxwell again. That's going to be ending. I tell you, it wasn't a good shot, but they got such a break because the ball will hit the glass, and then it was swiped away. We'll see the play coming up right here. This Maxwell with the ball. He makes a good pass off. Rosen tips it away. Maxwell gets back there and hits the glass. Then the block by Dwight Jones. That ball, I don't think had any chance to go, and here it is again. Goes up, hits the glass. There it is. Jones, and that's goaltending. Maxwell was 17 points, 4-point lead, and Gerald Henderson tries to stay with Ricky Sobers, and Henderson commits the foul. Ricky Sobers making that baseline drive at the 10:41 mark. Boston, who led after the play by 2, now with a 4-point advantage. At the end of the first quarter, Chicago led by 3. They led by 3 at half. Trailed by 2 after 3 quarters, and now by 4. Wilkerson, Dietrich. Oh, Bobby Wilkerson. I don't know if that was batted away or what. Under a foul on Kobe Dietrich. His 4th foul into the scorebook. 4 on Dietrich. Well, the game like this, so close. You cannot afford to come down and make costly turnovers. You must try to get shots. 91-87. Boston, Rick Roby. On him, back to Larry Bird. Bird to Roby again. Block to the ball. And so Chicago now has a chance to cut it to 2. Disappointed Bill Fitch. Again, no team since 1977 has been able to come back. in the first two games of the best-of-7 series and win it. Chicago would like to take that first step here tonight. Bobby Wilkerson to Keenan. Keenan on a big move, partially blocked. Chicago may have to get Gilmore back in the game. In fact, he's getting up right now. Chicago not getting the ball inside. There's the big guy, Maxwell. And that'll be Roby for the foul. Rick Roby trying to pound the board.
That was bad defense on Kobe Dietrich. He was trying to keep him off the boards, and he was trying to do it with his hands. You play good defense with your feet, not your hands. You get your body to play the good defense. You can't reach in because if you do, it's so obvious. They got to call it.
Gilmore comes in. Dietrich checks out. Kevin McHale checks in for Boston. There's a timeout. 9:44. The Celtics by 4.
Subaru, an economy car is only economical if it stands up year after year. Spending less at the pump is no bargain if you start spending more at the garage. In a study of Subaru owners, Road and Track magazine said, quote, one of the most trouble-free cars we've surveyed. That makes Subaru an economy car it pays to hold on to. Year after year after year. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way. The making of Taster's Choice. Take the best ground roast fresh perk coffee you know how to make. Then freeze it. To all that fresh perk flavor when you remove the ice. You'll have rich, natural chunks of freeze-dried coffee. Made by a premium process that's unlike ordinary heat drying. Taster's Choice, regular and green label decaffeinated. The only leading coffee that's freeze-dried.
There's Dan and Ellen Fields. He's editor of our local newspaper. He looks worried about his problem dandruff. I wish he'd ask me.
Mr. Owens, what shampoo should Dan use for his problem dandruff?
Ellen, how about Tegrin? It works on itching and flaking? In a national survey, 3 out of 4 dermatologists judged Tegrin's medication effective in fighting problem dandruff.
Let's try it out.
How's Dan's problem dandruff?
Tegrin's terrific news, Mr. Owens.
Prove it to yourself. Tegrin works.
It's a moving experience.
The preceding announcement was furnished by the National Basketball Association. 9:44 left in this game. Boston by 4. The Chicago Bulls have got Gilmore back in. Greenwood is still on the bench with 5 fouls, so that means that Keenan and Dwight Jones at the forward spots. Sobers. Here's Keenan. Keenan off to Bobby Wilkerson. Wilkerson broken up by Gerald Henderson, but Keenan saves it. It's off of Gilmore. And Henderson, and what are we going to have?
24-second violation.
24 seconds while they were chasing that ball. The shot clock expired. For the quickness of this guy, 43, Gerald Henderson.
Watch the play again. It was knocked away. The 24-second clock was continuing to tick down. It was touched by Henderson. That's why it wasn't a backcourt. Right there, the clock ran out.
And so, the Celtics with a chance now to bump it up to a 6-point lead. Bird going to try to do justice. Oh, he did. Larry Bird now with 22 points. The other end, Bobby Wilkerson. Big drive by Wilkerson. 93-89. Bobby Wilkerson with 12 points. Larry Bird again. Keenan trying to stay with him, and that is sure to stay with Larry Bird. Henderson to Bird again. Look at him. He's just taking over right now. Thrown away, intended for Maxwell. Wait a minute. A foul. Dwight Jones. Dwight Jones has committed his 4th personal. Jones out at Houston. Number 1 draft pick of Atlanta, then went to Houston, and he has started the last 13 games. That's when they made the change, taking Larry Keenan out of there and putting the 6'10", 8-year veteran in. Henderson. Kevin McHale, there's that fadeaway a 2-point game. Larry Bird, Keenan got him. Keenan has to be very careful in that baseline move. Chris Ford uses the screen. He's wide open.
They can get that shot all day because Artis Gilmore does not come out when this man sets a screen. They can have that shot whenever they want it.
4-point lead now for Boston. Inside 8 minutes to go. Effort, Bill Russell, by this Chicago team. And it goes to Gilmore. 3 men on him. So Wilkerson, Theus is open. Bird goes high. They say Bird can't jump very well, but he always seems to be in place.
Anybody that can jump the ball can jump.
Now it comes to Chris Ford. Kobe Dietrich getting ready to come in. Ford, they thought he walked to the ball. Maybe in Jerry Sloan. Kevin McHale hits it. It's a 6-point lead. McHale with 9 points. There's Sloan. His team struggled early. They put it all together down the stretch, winning their last 10 games of the regular season. Theus Ford looking at him. Inside 7 minutes left to go. Chicago needs a basket. Keenan. 2 seconds on the shot clock. He didn't get it underway. And the shot clock expires for the second time in this.
Chicago at times don't seem to be aware of the 24-second clock. Well, they got to be aware of that.
Defense by Boston, Gary.
6-point lead for the Celtics. The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. It's awfully hard to get any help from the sideline.
Well, your guards in particular, the 24-second clock is behind the backboard. They should keep their heads up. They should all be aware of how much time there is on the 24-second clock.
There's the turnover. It's pretty equal after Boston early was on the short end of that. 97-91. The Celtics trying to make it 3 games to none in this best of 7 series. Maxwell steps in, comes down to the rebound. They have Dietrich at a forward now as Gilmore stays in at center. Reggie Theus. Look at Gilmore jockeying against Kevin McHale. Bobby Wilkerson. Boy, Wilkerson has played well in this game tonight.
Actually touching the basket, that's something that the Wolves should be able to do more of. Gilmore gets the ball because the whole Celtic defense collapses on him, and there are openings for that.
14 points for Wilkerson, a 4-point lead. Tiny Archibald, 9 seconds on the 9 seconds on the shot clock. Tiny to the glass. 99-93, 14 points for Tiny. Last time he had 27. He just signed a new contract. Robert Parrish, by the way, just signed a new multi-year contract yesterday. Kobe Dietrich. Wilkerson to Reggie Theus. Theus, good effort on his part. 99-95. Reggie Theus with 19 points. That's right at his seasonal average. Archibald, McHale, Larry Bird, Dietrich trying to stay with him. Back out to Archibald. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Steal by Dwight Jones. Look out, he got a little sloppy there. Wilkerson comes up. Kobe Dietrich. It's a 2-point game. Boston has their lead well over 2. 5:16 to go in this one. After that 6-point lead has been cut to 2, Chicago has stated one thing. They haven't given up yet. We'll be back in a moment. 22 points, 14 rebounds. He has to be a strong candidate for our Most Valuable Player award. 2-point lead for the Boston Celtics. Greenwood in. Remember now, he's playing with 5 personal fouls. He's on Kevin McHale. Greenwood got this team started so well. Larry Bird to Robert Parrish. Robert Parrish, 16 points for the 7-footer. Again, a 4-point lead for the Celtics. Inside 5 minutes left. To Gilmore. Artis Gilmore, no foul. Greenwood follows and he's fouled. Bill Fitch saying, hey, see him there? He says, where did that come from?
Well, we'll see if we can help Bill out on this one as Artis goes up real strong. The ball's knocked away by Bird. Here comes Greenwood with the rebound. He goes back up. And I'd like to know Kevin McHale is who the foul was on. I didn't see where Kevin hit him on the play.
McHale committed the foul, his fourth, and with 4:44 left, what big time, what a big moment this year, this season for the Chicago Bulls. They need somehow to get a win. They can't afford to go down 3 games to 1, and 2 misses that really hurt.
Well, they're going to look at their free throw percentage when this game is over if they don't win it, because it's really killed them.
101 to 97.
They're 9 for 18, Gary.
9 for 18. Chris Ford into Kevin McHale. Boy, he is really a poised man for a first-year performer. 11 points for McHale. Now all of a sudden it's up to 6 points again after cutting it down to 2. Into Gilmore again. Gilmore has everybody on him in a foul.
In college, they call that the student body defense. Everybody get over there.
That foul is on Parrish. That's his 5th personal foul. Parrish with 5. McHale with 4. Now the free throws, which have hurt the Bulls in this game. Gilmore makes it 103-98. Artis Gilmore with 14 points. Artis this year shooting 71% from the free throw line. Another miss. They've missed 3 big ones. Bird is shaken up. He stepped out of bounds. But Bird is hurt. He caught something in the eye, and while he did that, he stepped over the end line.
That's all they call the referee can make, and he wasn't going to call a foul. That is not necessarily means the correct call.
There's Larry. Seems to be okay, but the Bulls have the basketball. Ricky Sobers. And that's a charging call on Ricky Sobers. That's 4 on Sobers.
That made up for the other one, huh?
What are you trying to say?
I'm glad you said that, Joe, not me.
That compounds it.
Chris Ford, Archibald, Parrish, Bird, and McHale as we go down to the final 4 minutes. Sloan wanted a foul out of that. He was jumping up. Ford broken up by Reggie Theus. Theus with Ford at his side. To Dietrich, blocked by McHale. Theus again, tremendous effort on the part of Chicago.
That's a great effort on the part of both teams here. You can tell they both want this game very badly. McHale made a great block. Theus forces the issue, takes it down the court. He spots Dietrich open on the right side. Toby goes up to go for the dunk. Blocked by McHale. There's Theus to hustle back and take it back up. He's bumped McHale again, the foul call.
That foul on McHale, or check that. Yes, McHale with his 5th. So both Parrish and McHale have 5 each. Reggie Theus makes it 103-99. Bill Fitch, an anxious Bill Fitch. He can make it a 3-point game if he can hit this one. 103-100. Bird is still holding that eye a little bit. 21 points in the ball game now for Reggie Theus. Parrish into Bird. Bird against Dietrich. Boy, what movement by Larry Bird. 24 points. I may have to vote for him on the Boston side of the picture for the MVP. 105-100. Ricky Sobers. Up it comes to Greenwood. Greenwood to Gilmore. That's a big turnover at 3:12 to go.
Artis just lost the ball. He would have had an easy dunk shot on that play. He just mishandled the pass.
13 turnovers against the Chicago Bulls. 14 for the Boston Celtics. Now 3 minutes left. Big 3 minutes in this playoff series for Chicago. Larry Bird. Rebound, Reggie Theus. 2 on 2. Greenwood. It's a 3-point game again.
That was some move by a guy that size, I can tell you.
This is what it's all about. The playoffs in the NBA. Look at this last break.
There's the step. Well, he looks like he might have taken one step too many that time. That's what the Celtics are complaining about. But Theus makes it. Here it catches it. Puts it down 1-2. It was all right. 1.5. An amazing statistic, Gary, that the Boston Celtics have not scored a point. They haven't even had a fast break in this quarter.
But that last break down the floor by Chicago was impressive. They're down by 3.
They've had 6 breaks. They scored 11 points off of fast breaks in this fourth quarter, the Bulls, that is.
Evidently, man, the tempo pickup by Chicago's paid off for them. But boy, what an effort it has taken, and they're still down by 3. Chris Ford, Reggie Theus. Theus has played extremely well in this game with 21 points. Greenwood leads the Bulls with 23. Larry Bird. Parrish over Gilmore, and a foul. And Gilmore has committed his 4th. They're going to call it on Theus, I guess, reaching in. Let's see.
Watch the shot on Bird, one-on-one against Dietrich. He loses him, gets open. Now the long rebound comes back to Parrish. Now Theus will commit to the screen. Right there is the foul on Theus.
That's right, Reggie Theus. That is the 3rd foul on Theus. So we have 5 on Greenwood, 4 Jones, 3 Gilmore, and 3 on Theus. Big miss. Robert Parrish, there's Sloan. The intensity on this guy's face. Oh, does that open the door for Chicago? 105-102. We're approaching 2 minutes left in this game, the Bulls would like somehow to make this series go 2-1 in favor of Boston. Third to the steal, but Sober saved it. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Greenwood with 6, 5, 4. Tough shot, rebound by 4. That was good defense by the Boston Celtics.
Yes, and a great recovery by Ricky Sobers to pick it up. I thought he double dribbled with the ball, but no call by the official, and they forced up a bad shot.
Boston Celtics the last time down, missing those 2 free throws. Tiny Archibald sneaking in. I mean sneaking. Archibald with 16 points. Chicago has called a timeout.
Well, the one man you wouldn't expect to get inside and get an easy layup, Tiny Archibald just takes it and lays it in.
That was definitely the result of bad defense, because the defense is on the weak side. You should open up so you can see the ball where the ball is and where your man is. That hurt him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trouble spots like these are what separate Gillette Atra from all ordinary razors. The reason? The Atra pivot. It keeps the blades at a perfect shaving angle, giving you a better shave than any razor that can't pivot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many more reasons do you need? Gillette Atra, the pivot, makes it better.
Gillette, when it comes to shaving, we give you the edge.
Well, Bill Russell and Rick Barry, the Bulls are fast running out of time. 1:43. You see the timeouts remaining.
Well, they are making a lot of mental errors going down a stretch. And you can't do that going down a stretch. That's when you have to go down and get a shot every time, an open shot. That's when you have to execute your fundamental plays. What you should do in the last few minutes of the game, especially the Chicago Bulls, they should come down, set up, and make sure they get a good shot. They're not exploiting the Boston defense by the mismatches.
107-102. Boston. Theus to Greenwood. Greenwood to Gilmore. Hardest outside. They have 8 seconds on the shot clock. 7 blocked outside. The shot clock's going to expire. 3, 2. And Hale rips it down.
They got the shot off, but that was they might as well have let the clock run out for the shot they came up with.
Situation where, again, as Bill pointed out, they have allowed the Boston Celtics defense to disrupt them.